Well, are you ready for some unindoctrination? I hope so, because ready or not, here it comes. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, coming to you from the heartland, straight out the heartland. Don't have the flags up, but we're still coming in the spirit of 1776 and with a rebel yell. Tyrants, whether they be 4,000 miles, 400 miles, 4 miles, or right in our own city, they will not stand. We did not start this fight. We did not bring this battle to you. You've brought it to us. But we're your huckleberries. Don't say when, because you won't like the results. We've been pushed too far, and we've had enough. But happy times today, good times today. Of course, our best thoughts with our great president in the hospital. And of course, CNN with its normal, terrible reporting. President Trump hospitalized. No, folks, President Trump is not hospitalized. President Trump is working from the presidential offices at Walter Reed Hospital due to an abundance of caution. So don't believe what you read. Don't believe what you hear. And I just wanted to apologize to you all in one regard, in that I was struck. I've been contacted by a guy that his name escapes me right now, but his channel's called Conspiracy Castle. And he looks so professional. His work looks professional. His setup looks professional. And he wears a coat and tie. And I thought to myself, you know what, Jeff, you should not take your subscribers and the people that view you for granted, because I wouldn't show up. Whoops, I'm trying to find a good mix here. I wouldn't show up at something that I consider to be important wearing a t-shirt, but yet every single day I show up here in front of you wearing a t-shirt, and I have just come to believe that that's borderline disrespectful to you. So I'm not going to wear a tie. I'm not a tie guy, probably, but I am going to show up wearing, something, wearing a coat, wearing a collared shirt, out of respect to you, the callers. And that's what it's all about. Tonight, we're going to open up the phones, and we're going to have a troll and critic call-in show. All of our trolls and critics are welcome to call in. And we might as well go over the ground rules at this time. There are ground rules. Number one, there will still be no trolling allowed in the chat room. You can state an opinion, but if you're rude, you will be bounced out of the chat room. The chat room is not the place for you to voice your trollish or your critical concerns, because to be frank with you, most of you that are critics, most of you that are trolls, don't have the guts to pick up a phone and make a call. That's why we will only address trolls and critics if they have the balls to make the calls. And if you do have the balls and you do make a call, understand that I've got the magic hang up button, and I will. You must be respectful. You must be courteous, and you must speak in turn. It's not going to be like the presidential debate, although many of you may be wearing a wire like Joe Biden, and I would be tempted to talk over you so you can't hear your wire. You're going to have to grow up and be a big boy or a big girl. So you're going to be polite. You're not going to be rude, and you're not going to talk over your host. Well, you won't talk over your host twice. Let's put it that way. I'm opening up to all subjects. There are some words that are not YouTube friendly. You cannot say those words, like words that start with a J, words that start with a Z. We're not going to say those words. We're not going to drop like N words, either the NA or the NI word. We're just not going to do that, because we have more respect for people than to do those things. Not really too worried about cussing, but don't make it sound like a Red Fox comedy routine. Be effective with the F word if you feel like you must use it. So I will allow you to call in, and this is not, you're not Chris Wallace. I'm not inviting you to call in and make a speech. I'm inviting you to call in and ask a question. If you'd like to make a speech, you have a channel. If you have a name here, you have a channel. I'm not inviting you to make a speech. I'm inviting you to ask a question. So don't be like Chris Wallace and make a 20-second speech where you ask a question. Ask a question. And if you start making a speech, you will find yourself, hello, 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 and I won't be there, brah. Won't be there. Jeff, why do you get to be such a jerk? It's my channel. And your trolls, your critics, what do you expect? My hope is that it will be it'll be a courteous exchange of ideas. And once we get through the trolls, we'll take calls from all of our regular people that love us so much. And there's many, many more of them. Alma was here straightening up today, and I'm not sure what she did with the rods, but I'm going to do it before we take the calls. I'm going to do a personal service for Grandmaster Sexy. He's saying that he's going to take Tampa Bay on Sunday, giving up 7 points to the LA Chargers. So we're going to ask the rods, if they go in an X, that's a yes. If they go out, that's a no. And I'm not live yet. Honey, am I live? I don't think I'm live. Why am I not live? Why am I not live? This is weird. I am? Oh, it's not showing up as live on my screen. That's the weirdest thing. Let me go back in here and see and reload it up and see if it will show me live this time. I just because it shows live. If you've ever done this, it'll show live on your YouTube that you're live, and it wasn't showing me that I was live. So that's why I had, and I've done it before. Cynthia and I on your Cynthia and I did a half a show and realized that dummy, which is me, had forgot to turn on the live button. So just for a service to Grandmaster Sexy, I'm going to ask, will the Tampa Bay Buccaneers cover the spread on Sunday? And I can't watch. If anybody kneels, I can't watch. So that's why my team just won the Stanley Cup, and I got to see 37 seconds of the entire series. But anyway, you ready? Will Tampa Bay cover the spread on Sunday? Will Tampa Bay cover the spread on Sunday? Yes, they will, Grandmaster Sexy. You are safe with what you thought was a bet. Okay, so we might as well see if anyone has the balls to make the calls. What do you think? So I'm going to put the phone number right here in the chat, and I think this will work. 813-534-0083. And if you ever think, hey, I'm gonna call this number and I'm gonna give Jeff hell, it won't work because it's a Google number, and if I don't turn on my Google, I won't hear it anyway. So it doesn't even matter to me. So don't think that you're going to be able to call me up and give me a bunch of BS and all that good stuff, because it's not going to work, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and put this in here and remember the rules. And whoops, you know what? I forgot to do this one thing I always do. There's a little button. You got to click it. You've heard me say it. For some reason, it must be a male thing, right? Look at that. It's not working. It's not working. Oh, I know why it's not working. Go ahead and hang up and call back because I got to fix something here. Let's see what's going on here. Let's try this again, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Now, I didn't even put the number in and somebody's calling. That's hilarious. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got going here. Hopefully we can hear them. Hangouts needs to access your microphone to make calls. Click the allow button at the top of your browser. Allow. Hello, this is Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Who are we speaking to? Where are you from?
This is James. I live in Idaho.
James from Idaho. Thanks for being the brave, intrepid first caller. And let me see give me what you got, bro.
Well, I love your show. I watch you all the time. You've taught me so much about the Bible I would have never have known without you. Therefore, I appreciate you. But being intelligent enough to know how we've been misled and basically bullshitted about the whole Bible Christ thing, why do you believe so much in politics? When you have shows to where you go in on how much Trump is going to help us and Biden's going to be against us, the people who lied to us then lied to us now, and that's my question.
Okay, and you almost made a speech, but you didn't, so I'll give you credit for that.
Sorry, my bad.
And I'm sorry, was your name Tim?
James,
I'm sorry. James, it's an excellent question. And to tell you the truth, back in my prior life, back before after I left the ministry, 20 years a minister, and before I started doing what I'm doing now, I was actually heavily involved in partisan politics. I ran a state for the Patrick J. Buchanan campaign. I was a delegate to the Republican National Convention and very, very much into it. Realized that partisan politics is a dead end. I realized that partisan politics is a dead end. And I gave up any hope of any political reform coming from Washington, D.C. or from our state houses. And then Donald Trump came down that escalator. And then Donald Trump started talking about the things that Donald Trump talks about and nobody else will talk about. And then and I still didn't trust him, James. I still didn't trust him. He's just part of the system. It's just a better game. And then the Republican debate came where Jeb Bush, in one of his very few high energy moments, Jeb Bush looked in the camera resolutely and said, "My brother kept this nation safe for 8 years." And then Donald Trump says, "Excuse me, but the Twin Towers came down on your brother's watch. I don't call that keeping America safe." And I thought, holy shit, this guy's for real. And he got into the White House, but I was worried because he owed $1 billion in personal debt, not business debt, $1 billion in personal debt to the money changers that we won't go any further definition of that. And they're the people that wanted Jerusalem to be the capital. They're the people that wanted the Golan Heights. They're the people that wanted the embassy in Jerusalem. And with all their trillions combined, they could never buy this. And Donald Trump, the art of the deal, sat down and said, "I'll tell you what, boys, I'll give you those three things that you could never, ever get on your own without me. But guess what? My $1 billion loan with you is written off." I believe, James, you asked me why. I believe that Donald Trump has been free and clear to navigate from that day. And from that day to this, he has absolutely, literally destroyed the mainstream media. Everybody calls it fake news now. That makes my job so much easier. He has almost completely hasn't had enough time to redo the whole federal judiciary. Why hasn't Trump indicted anybody? It does no good to perp walk Hillary Clinton in the front door if the judge lets her walk out the back door. You've got to change the judiciary. He's almost got it done. Everything that Donald Trump said he was going to do, he's doing. Do I trust him completely? No. But every time he does what he's going to do, I trust him. I do know that he has destroyed the mainstream media. I do know that he's got an executive order to further destroy the mainstream media, the YouTubes, the Googles, and make them play on a fair and level field. And even if that's the only thing he does, I'm super excited. I'm super supportive of him. He has started waging peace instead of war. He's brought our troops home from overseas. They wanted him to go to war with Iran. No. They want him to go to war with Korea. No. They want him to go to war with Russia. No. And now we're bringing troops home. Our infrastructure is being rebuilt. Our economy is the best that it's ever been before the China virus. So, a lot of people say, why do we vote? It's not worth it. Up until 2016, with very few exceptions, I agree with you. But in 2016, it was important because I know that military white hats enabled a fair vote, and Donald Trump won that vote. And James, I have people from all over the world that listen, and every single one of them, they tell me, Jeff, we're in Canada, we're in China, we're in Australia, we're in Germany, and we are depending upon the United States, because if you don't reelect Donald Trump, it's over. This whole world cabal is going to go down. Everything he showed me so far shows me he's real. The day he stops showing me he's real is the day that I'll stop supporting him. But right now, because of what he's done, do I like him? I'll be honest, I like him. Has he said some stuff that's stupid? Yeah, and I can see why people don't like his personality. But Donald Trump has done the deed. And he is the man of the hour. He's standing up. He's doing what? Can't you tell him already on a call? You can only call one at a time. He has been the guy. That's my answer.
Well, I appreciate that, and it's good to know. So what I just found out is you're more into Trump than you are the actual politics.
Absolutely.
All right. And I got to admit to you, I voted for him last time. I'm going to vote for him this time. So I agree. I hope with a new Supreme Court justice that we're going to get in, that we get some of this abortion nonsense taken care of, and hopefully life gets better.
And James, again, you're so right. I mean, a president, yeah, politics, but if he puts another pro-life judge on that court and we can save the lives of hundreds of thousands and even millions of unborn babies, it's worth me going out and getting off my butt in November 3rd and voting for Donald Trump. James, you're a gentleman and a scholar. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the way a phone call should go. Thank you so much, James, for that. I appreciate you. And the line is now open again for anyone that would like to call in. And before you do, I want to remind you that this is brought to you by Focus Life Force Energy. That's why I'm so calm. That's why I'm so cool. That's why I've got it all together, because I got Fluffy right here. Hold on just 1 second while I finish my Fluffy commercial. It will put you in a high consciousness.
How you doing this fine day?
Hold on 1 second while I finish my Fluffy commercial. It will put you in high consciousness. Yeah, goodbye. Anyway, I think that was actually a telemarketing call, which is crazy. But I am here in a high consciousness environment. I'm grounded. My nutrients, very little because I'm fasting, are being uptaken into my system with great efficiency. Focus Life Force Energy. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com. Click on the Fluffy logo. They'll give you 30 days for free. They'll also let you just go ahead and get set up. Let's see what we got. From the 954 area code, it looks pretty close to where I am from. You're on with the Christian Whistleblower.
They'll also let you just go ahead and get set up. Let's see what we got.
Are you calling into the radio show?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, go ahead and hit me with your question.
How you doing there, Jeffrey?
I'm doing well. You want to mute your computer in the background because it's giving feedback.
I'm sorry. Let me cut it off. Are you calling into the radio show? Yes, I am.
Yeah, because see, we can hear us in stereo.
Okay, I just shut the computer off.
All right, perfect. What's your name?
My name is Robert.
Robert, good to have you.
Thank you. I've been listening to your show quite a while now.
Thank you.
Very good stuff. Very enlightening, actually. A lot to learn out there. Some people just don't have the patience or the time, and I guess the knowledge to sit down and research for themselves. Have you ever heard of this gentleman, Russell J. Cold?
Russell
Cold?
Russell J. Cold?
Yeah.
I have not heard of him.
Okay, you might want to look his website up. He says he's claiming that there is no presidency in the USA. In 1999, he is commander-in-chief, and that we've been in martial law since 2004. It's something for you to look into. Russell J. Cold.
If you don't mind, if you're still on the show, put that in the chat so I'll see it later. I don't have anything to write with at my leisure right now, but I will definitely look into it. And thank you for the call. I've heard that type of stuff before, and I got to be honest with you, folks. I know some of you are going to be upset with me. The fringe on the flag means this. Your birth, it's like a boat. It's admiralty law. It's your social security card in capital letters. Folks, I don't buy that. I just don't buy that. I really don't. And I haven't seen enough verifiable information in my mind for me to buy that. I will look, but I don't really buy it at this point. Hello, are you calling into the Christian Whistleblower?
Hello.
Are you calling into the Christian Whistleblower?
Yeah, I'm Zorro's God. I chat on your line all the time.
Awesome. Try to turn down your computer in the background if you can. We're getting feedback.
Well, I am only using my mic right now, and maybe I should just extend the mic.
No, you're okay. What's your question?
My question is logic and how people use logic to basically they use logic either to condemn people, or they will use logic to enforce people, or they will use logic to actually consume people.
Okay. Is there a question in there for me?
How do you treat that?
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with your premise. I think that it is used to control people. And folks, if you hear me on a call, I only have one line, so please don't try to call in while we're still on a call. I know we're small budget here. I didn't know if this would work, so we only have one line. I'll try to take care of that before next week. But you are right. I think logic is used, and people will use other things and try to call them logic. Governments are famous for trying to control with what they say is logic. Is it or not? Religions are famous for that. Gurus are famous for that.
As a free being, I trade equally with other people.
Okay.
Okay.
I appreciate your call, but I mean, this is really for a question. This isn't for a statement.
You cannot trade equal.
Sorry, folks. That was an example of a bad call. Bad call. Calling in to make a speech. I don't mind if you make a speech. You've got a channel to make a speech. I don't mind if you want to push your own beliefs and your doctrines. I support it. I'll help you start a channel. But that's not what this is for tonight. Don't have a speech. Have a question, ladies and gentlemen. Is that confusing? Did I confuse the people? Maybe it's the jacket. It's throwing people off. I know it's a little bit hard to take. But, you know, he's right. But obviously he didn't have a question. He was trying to get to some type of an agenda that he wanted to push and he wanted to preach. And that's fine. But that's not what we're here for tonight. You're calling from the 201 area code. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. How are you?
Hello?
Hi, are you there?
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah.
You're a little loud. Can you turn down your computer in the background? I can't hear you. You're coming in stereo.
Sorry, I'm here to ask Jeff a question.
I'm Jeff. This is low budget. This low budget. You're not calling coast to coast. It's just me.
Oh, there you are, bro. Okay, what's up, man? Yeah, just wondering, what do you make out of the events today?
You were speaking about the president having the dosum whist, that people call the COVID-19.
Yeah, the whole situation in general. Do you have any idea or any? Yeah.
You know, I kind of like to follow the Bongino rule. If you ever listen to Dan Bongino, he's a great commentator. And he says he tries to give everything 24 hours before he solidifies a opinion. And I think that's generally a safe rule to take, but I'm not that safe. So I've got two ideas that are forming in my mind. Either number one, they're trying to kill our great president. And now that they've labeled him with COVID or with the dosum whist, I don't like to say the word because I don't want to give it power or energy. But now that they've labeled him with the dosum whist, they can kill him with anything. And they've got an excuse for it. So that's number one. Is it a deep state cabal attempt to kill our great president because they know that he's going to trounce Joe Biden come November 3rd. But the other thought is, and Donald Trump has shown himself to be ahead of the game at every single step. So is Donald Trump, and I remember Tracy Dyer actually told me something I didn't know. She wrote something somewhere that I didn't know, that JFK actually faked a cold to get off the campaign trail in, I think it was 62, to deal with the Cuban Missile Crisis. So is Donald Trump, number one, have they got some intelligible or some verifiable intelligence that shows a credible threat against the life of our great president? So they want to keep him in the White House for extra security. Let's put him on a military base, Walter Reed Hospital, for even more security. Is there a credible threat against our president? Or is he pulling a JFK and coming off of the campaign trail because he wants to do some big business? So those are my two thoughts. Don't know yet. What do you say?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like you said, at least 24 hours.
Yep.
Something like that. Right?
Hey, I appreciate your call. Thanks so much for being a listener.
Dude, take care, man.
My pleasure. Bye-bye. Well, this is going rather well, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? I have to say, I'm very pleasantly surprised. Didn't know what would happen. And it's great. It's good. And I must say that I blatantly stole this idea from young Pharaoh. He's not the first person ever thought of it, but I saw that and I said, oh, that's a good idea. Are you calling from the 813 area code? Really?
Hello?
This is Jeff Daugherty. Are you calling into the radio show?
Hi. Who?
Hello.
Who are you?
This is Jeff. Do you have a question for the radio show?
I don't know what you want. I don't know.
Okay. Adios. Hi, this is Jeff Daugherty. Are you calling in for the radio show?
Yes, I am.
Great. If you could turn down your computer, please do so. We can't hear you. Folks, you got to turn down your computers. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfectly. What you got, my friend?
I'm going to try and be a little bit critical here because we were actually doing the Cousins Club show, and he started dropping the N-bomb, which I won't do on this particular platform.
Right.
And I tried to point out to you that, you know, most black people, we don't say the N-word the way that you started to say it.
Could you explain what you mean by that?
Well, you started using the N-word, you know, and saying how this is one of those banned words. And for lack of a better term, you started to point out how other people use this, other black people. And I said to you, sir, no, we don't use it with a R at the end. We use it with an A. You actually pointed out that you've heard this in many other rappers. You've heard young Pharaoh use this. I'm just wondering, you know, have you rethought about that? I mean, so do you recall this at all?
Oh, I recall it 100%. And just to put it in perspective for people, I was talking about that N-word, and it's a word that I don't like to use. It's a bad word. And in my opinion, it's a word that's used to divide. It's a word that, to me, and here is the whole point, that it shouldn't be used by anybody. And I've got to be very frank with you. Thank you for calling in. If you're going to call up and say to me that N-I-G-G-A is a whole lot different than N-I-G-G-E-R, I don't think there's a whole lot of people in the W-O-R-L-D that get that very fine differentiate, that down to the minutia that you're talking about. And I would think, and maybe you can agree with me or disagree, but if we stop using that word with an N that ends in an A or ends in an R, we're all a whole lot better, because that word has so much vitriol and hatred associated with it that, in my opinion, we got to don't talk over me. Remember, it's my show. In my opinion,
you stated that no, you guys use it with an R.
We guys don't use it, period.
No, I'm talking about black people, Jeff. You said that you guys use it with the R as well. When I hear it with the R. That's what you said.
Well, if I said that, sometimes I do hear it with an R, but you're right. Most of the time I hear it with an A. And what I'm saying to you is, as long as, and this is just an opinion. I'm not trying to hate on anybody with it, but here's an opinion. As long as black people continue to use that word with an A, You're going to hear non-black people using it with an R, and it is not going to be praising you. It's going to be just the opposite. By continuing to use that word within your community, this is my opinion, you are continuing to give your enemies a stick to club you over the head with. That's just my opinion.
You're using it as showing that you're being the enemy.
Come on now, you heard that show, right? We were having this exact same discussion on that show.
I really understand the point that you were making and the point that you're making now, but when you listen to what you just stated, you just said that your enemies will use it with the R. And again, this is what you're choosing to validate.
No, it's not. You're completely off base on this. The show was about, let's don't use this word period with an R or with an A. And if you're going to completely, I'm a teacher, I'm an instructor, that's what I do. And if I'm going to bring the reality of a subject, and I appreciate you calling in, if I'm going to bring the reality of a subject, I'm on a forum where I can bring this shit real. And the real is, if you want to say N-I-G-G-A, you're going to have other people saying N-I-G-G-E-R, and they're going to use it as a club. They're coming after you. I think the world would be better off if we retired both of those words. Do you think I'm wrong?
I mean, I do see the point that you're making. I'm not really calling about that. It's more of your justification and choosing to say to me that, hey, well, you guys are using it with the R, is what you specifically stated.
Well, if I specifically stated that, then I am only right a minor amount of the times, and I'm wrong a lot of the time. I will apologize because I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I'm not black, and I don't, spend a lot of time in the black community. So frankly, I don't know what folks within the black community are calling each other. But all I know is regardless of the R or the A, regardless of the R or the A, retire the word and we're all better off.
We have to start listening to your black friends that are trying to help you guys. And I think that's very important. And I would love to talk to you about this thought that there's no systematic racism.
Well, let's stay on this first one. If we can't get past this, we're not going to be able to get to anything else. Are you going to, and again, this is not coming at you. I think I know who this is. You know how I feel about you.
This is Lionel Berrio.
I know this.
I agree with you. I understand the point that you're making, and I will concede that, yes, it will be, quote unquote, better for us to not use it. You guys even trying to tell us not to use something, right there is something wrong with that to begin with. But
Lionel, listen, Lionel, give me a second now. If my son starts saying shit and he's 4 years old, I'm going to tell that little bitch to not say shit anymore. The point is, if somebody is saying something that is destructive to, I don't understand why these people are doing this, that is destructive to society, I think I not only have a right as a person that does what I do, but I have an obligation. Why is that ringing through? So I don't know if we're going to be able to totally agree on this, but you're right. If I said that people within your community use the R, I'm wrong, and I apologize.
To use it as a term of endearment for our people. And you're sitting here telling us that we shouldn't use it.
No.
And I get the point that you're making, but at the end of the day, when you realize where that came from, you probably should go ahead and just say, you know what? Based off of all the evilness that we did with this, y'all can have it. I'm going to leave that alone.
Lionel, I appreciate you probably more than you know, sincerely. But I think you're sincere. I think you're sincerely wrong on this. That word is so divisive. That word is so horrific. Lionel, don't make me hang up on you because you're not letting me finish my points.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right. It pains me to think that, and I know you don't speak for the whole black community. I don't speak for the whole white community, but it pains me to think that there's people within the black community that would rather fight for the right to use that word. And you're a grown ass man. You can say whatever you want. I got nothing to do with it. But if we really want racial harmony, if we really want to get along with everybody and have a society that's really inclusive, if there is such a thing as systematic racism, if we want to get rid of that, I'll guarantee you this, at least in my opinion, if you get rid of that word with the A on the end of it, you will help all of us make great strides to getting rid of any prejudice in the society, and certainly systemic racism, if it exists. And I'd be glad to talk with you on a separate show, bring you on if you want to talk about systemic racism. But are we finished with the N-word, you think, or no?
Again, what I wanted to hear, you already stated, and, I appreciate that. I do understand sometimes we get out of our heads when you're doing these type of shows. But for you to say that we say it in that way, it's just blatantly not true. But I appreciate your understanding of that. And I do understand where you're coming from as far as we now using it. It does cause opportunity for certain energy to still exist. But ultimately, where did this evil energy come from? But,
Great point. Great point. Lionel, if I said it in the way that you said that I said it, I don't remember, frankly, then I was wrong. It was a mistake. And I humbly apologize to you. And thank you for being a gentleman.
I want to be clear. It was not stated in a derogatory fashion towards anyone. It wasn't stated in that nature. It was a matter of, hey, this is a word that is banned. We were talking about banned books, banned words.
Right.
So, it wasn't anything that you were saying. I don't want that to be confused.
Lionel, you're a gentleman. You're a scholar. I appreciate you, and I hope that you'll continue to be in the chat room, and we look forward to talking to you again in the future.
For sure. I got to talk to you about the white privilege at some point.
All right, my friend. Be glad to do it.
All right.
Good night, Lionel. Take care of yourself. Boy, they're stacked up. Oh, shoot. Sorry. I didn't mean to hang up on you. It wasn't on purpose. That was a great call. Lionel Berryhill's a great gentleman. And you see how that works? Lionel and I still don't agree on the use of that word. And he might be right, I might be wrong. But I will still take a bullet for Lionel Berryhill. I will still stand with him, even if we don't agree on that word. Thank you for calling in. I'm Jeff. Are you calling for the radio show? Hello, are you there?
Hey, it's Sarah.
Hello, Sarah. How are you?
Okay, so I'm just going to come out and say this. We had such a great date together, and I thought we were really clicking, and then you just ghosted me. What the hell?
Sarah, I don't think you're talking to the person that you think you're talking to. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye. Oh, that's funny. That's a great troll. I got to tell you. This is Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. You calling in for the radio show?
I am.
And you are on the air. What's your question?
What's going on, Jeffrey Daugherty? This is Dwayne McClain TV.
Hey, man, how are you? This Dwayne McClain? Is this the Dwayne McClain?
You said what?
Is this the Dwayne McClain?
It's the Dwayne McClain.
Dwayne McClain's got a great YouTube channel. He's been on this show before. I recommend that you subscribe to the channel. No matter what Dwayne has to ask or say. Dwayne, what's your question, my friend? Good to hear from you.
It's good to hear from you too, man. I just want to know what you think about Trump being a time traveler. I've been hearing all this conspiracy about him.
Sorry, these people keep calling in, and I only got one line.
Yeah. I've been hearing all this conspiracy about him being a time traveler. It's supposed to be like a book.
Yes.
Written like 1893. I forgot what it was called, The Journey or something.
It's called The Last President.
Yeah, The Last President. And it was another book. They say all connected. It's something about Russia. God, I'm like, I just want to know what his perspective on that. Like, you think he's a time traveler?
You know, Dwayne, I used to think he was a time traveler. I was thinking, yes, he's got to be a time traveler. But, you know, I'm a little bit of a strange duck, and I got a lot of strange oars in the water, so to speak. And one of the things that I am an expert at, or at least a practicing expert, is what is known as white Dianetics, white Scientology. And what I come to believe now is that Donald Trump has expert, what's called clear operating Thetan, white Dianetic practitioners working for him. And from the beginning of remote viewing, they're the best remote viewers. I think Donald Trump, and I know that he has them working for him. I think that's how he knows the future. But Dwayne, to be frank with you, it's possible that he is a time traveler, because the man is a step ahead of everything. He's never worried about anything. This much for sure, Dwayne, he knows the future. I think he knows it through remote viewing. But if I found out he was a time traveler, it wouldn't surprise me a bit. What's your gut feeling on it, Dwayne?
I think he's a time. I think he has something to do with maybe time travel. I think he might be on it because it seems like he's in this whole entire situation.
He does.
There was like several assassination attempts on his life that he just seems miraculously dodged. Like the Las Vegas shooting was supposed to be an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, and for some reason he just happened to know not to show up that day.
Yep.
In Las Vegas.
Dwayne, that's why I like you so much. You're a very informed YouTube content provider, and let's do another show together soon, okay?
All right, man. Hit my email. You know the contact?
I do indeed. I've got it from last time we talked.
All right. Well, hey, that's all I had to ask for you. Enjoy the show. You take care.
Thank you, my friend. That's Dwayne McClain, ladies and gentlemen. He's been on our show before. Go into my site, search Dwayne McClain. You'll see who he is, and he's got a good YouTube channel. I think it's probably a great YouTube channel. And I love to see a young man making a YouTube channel, spending his time trying to enlighten other folks. And Dwayne McClain is one of those men. I'm Jeff. Are you here for the radio show?
Yeah. I'm a troll trying to talk to you.
Well, you can quit trying because you are.
So do I get to talk to you? Or?
Sure. If you turn down your computer so I can hear you, you can hit me with what you got.
Okay, just give me a second here.
No problem. Take all the time you need.
Just give me a second. I got you on another...
I can actually hear you pretty good right now. Go ahead. What's your question? Oops.
Okay, my question is kind of simple.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a free being in creation, and I'd like to know why I need a God.
Why do you need a God?
Yeah.
I don't think you need a God. I think that it's much more important for you to realize that you are divine, you are sovereign, you are free, that you're a free being, than for you to find some God outside of you. I happen to believe that there is a supreme, ultimate creator, and I have that spark of divinity within me. That's why I say I'm divine, sovereign, and free. It comes from that creator. But people are a whole lot better off if they believe like you do, that you're a free being that doesn't need a God, than for them to believe that they're not a free being looking for a God. So I think you and me are on the same page.
Well, I was looking at, if you stand in front of a bunch of free beings, what directions do you have left?
The directions that I have left for a bunch of free beings is ask questions, question answers, and unindoctrinate yourself. What?
You can't ask a question. You cannot ask the question.
Well,
you're standing in a bunch of free beings, and you've made your decision on where you want to be in your life and what you want to be in creation. And that's it.
Then move forward and manifest your creation, my friend.
You can't move forward. You're going to a recycle.
Okay, I get what you're saying. I think we're on the same page. I appreciate the call. You're a free being. I support you being a free being. And thanks for calling in. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. This is going rather well, isn't it? It's bam, 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 bam. It's like we're on coast to coast up in here. People calling on the left, people calling on the right, people being very respectful. I like it. It's fun. I thought that we might get a little more nastiness, and be careful what you wish for, because who knows what's coming from this 619 area code right here. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. You are on the air.
Jeffrey, this is James.
Hello, James.
Hey, I got a question for you. First of all, I want to say I like your show. You and I agree on most things, but there's a few things I don't agree with you on. But let me throw this question at you.
James, you have the right to be wrong.
Do you think there's better than a 50% possibility the U.S. will splinter into pieces after the election, regardless of who wins?
I would say 0% that the U.S. would split into sections if Donald Trump is reelected as president of the United States. If Donald Trump is not reelected as president of the United States, you're probably looking at, I would say, over 50% certainly that the United States will rise up and you'll probably get you'll probably wind up with basically red country, which is almost the whole nation, and just a few islands of liberal idiocracy, unless the rest of us red folks just get tired of having any of those blue folks and go ahead and make them find another island. I don't know if that's right or if that's wrong, but that's my opinion. What do you think?
Well, what if you say Trump wins, it probably won't, but Blue has already said that if they lose, they're going to have a separate inauguration. And they're just going to go loose and say, "Hey, we're going our own way."
You know,
almost like what the South did.
Yeah. Well, please don't say it's like what the South did. I'm from the South. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. And actually, we're not going to get into what the South did. We'll just pretend. I'll just say, okay. You know, to be honest with you, James, I don't think, blue. We're the silent majority, right? We're the silent majority. That's what we say. And if we're the silent majority, that makes them the loud minority. And I'll just be straight up with you. I've seen the Antifa. I've seen the BLM communist people. I've seen the way they act. I've seen the way they operate. And Cynthia just showed me a meme that said something about beware when the people that don't care get woken up. I don't care after President Trump gets reelected. I don't care what blue wants to do. Let blue do their best. But I'll guarantee you this, blue will be quickly turned into black and blue because they do not have the answer for what they would wake up. They do not have the answer for the hell that would fall down upon them. If they want to fight a war, they're bringing a squirt gun to a bazooka fight. That's my opinion, and it would be over in short order.
Right. Have you read the book, The Fourth Turning?
The fourth what?
The Fourth Turning.
The Fourth Turning. I've not read it.
Okay, I suggest you just take a look at that because it says every 80 years we have a civil war or a potential civil war.
Well, James, a very wise man named Thomas Jefferson said that every now and again, a little revolution is a good thing, that the tree of liberty needs to be, I think he said, fertilized by the blood of patriots.
I agree.
And
I thought it was the blood of tyrants, but it could be patriots.
Tyrants or patriots. And probably even no matter how good either side is, there's going to be some of each in there, James.
Well, that book was written in 1997. And he basically got everything right and says that we go through this 80-year cycle because that's the length of a human life, an average human life.
Right.
And basically says that people who lived through the World War II, well, they've all died off, so they're not here to remind us of what happened.
Boy, that's a great point.
How bad it is,
That's a great point. That's a fantastic point.
Just do the math and go back 80 years, and you'll see it was World War II. 80 years before that was the Civil War. 80 years before that was the Revolution. We just keep repeating the cycle.
Well, you've got some compelling data there, James, and it's certainly an idea that we'd all do well to contemplate. I'm the last of the great optimists. So, I'm thinking, well, it's always been 80, but I could push that out to maybe 180, but it's possible. And I appreciate you calling in. That's a great, great statement. And I'm going to order that book, The Fourth Turning, and I'm going to read it.
Very good. Thank you.
James, thank you for calling, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, cousins of all ages, I am just super impressed. Again, I'm so blown away by the high quality of this audience. Even our trolls are upstanding and outstanding people so far. You know what that sound means? Somebody wants a piece of my ass. This is Jeff. You're on the air. How can I help you?
Hey, hi.
Hi, do you have a question?
This is Tom.
Sorry, you got to speak up fast. You can hear the lines ringing off the hook. I invite you to call back, but try to use your own voice and get right to the point. Obviously, we got a lot of callers coming in. We're going to have to invest in some kind of a calling system. This is Jeffrey Daugherty. You're on the air. What's your question?
Hi, Jeffrey. How are you?
You know what? I am so good. I was even talking with Cynthia today. I'm so good that sometimes I feel guilty. It's been a very, very hard year for the world. Most people have been suffering, but it's been the best year of my life, and I think it's getting better.
Oh, my gosh. That's awesome. I have to tell you, I went through a real bad time period when all this shit started, and it was you that got me through it.
Oh,
64 pounds.
I don't think it was me. I think it was just you.
I wasn't eating. And it was like the sheer terror that, all this stuff was going down. You remember you were doing the 1 o'clock, well, it was 1 o'clock Eastern time, of the good news?
Yes.
Doing oh my gosh, that got me through some hard times.
Thank you. I've slacked off on that. I need to do it again.
Yes, I really appreciate it. But I'm just going to stick to the point. Thank you for your show. Thank you for everything. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you.
And can I just say something to you before you ask a question?
I'm sorry, say again?
I just want to say something to you before you ask your question, okay?
Certainly.
You and people like you are the reason why Cynthia and I do what we do. Thank you so much. And what's your question?
Oh my God. You have no idea how much that means to me.
You're making me emotional. Stop. I'm like President Trump. You're gonna make me cry. Don't say that. You're gonna make me cry.
You actually know me in a sense of I used to subscribe, but then I just got so fearful of everything that I just stayed in the background now, just in the background.
Okay.
But I watch you all the time, every day. But okay, so what I was getting to was, remember a while ago you put up a picture of Biden, and you were showing the two different.
Yes, the ear thing
with his earlobe and everything. Yeah, like the two different. And you were saying that he was cloned.
Yes.
And then, I don't know, a couple of months later, or most recently, you made a video about how there is no human cloning.
With Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right.
Right. So I was wondering, I guess my question would be, well, which is it? Do you believe that there's human cloning or not? Because these two videos seem to contradict each other, and I was kind of confused.
Yeah, they only seem to contradict each other because they do. And the Biden thing was a while ago, and I'm looking at the ears. Okay. It's a different guy. I've got people in my ear, people I respect, saying there's clones. And I'm thinking, you know what? There might be clones, but now comes. We're 33 or some odd days before, 45 days, I think it was, before an election where the Democrats, I don't want to restate my whole premise, you heard it, where the Democrats have the majority in the Supreme Court that could likely decide an upcoming election. And I just said to myself, I said, Jeff, if ever the Democrats, if the deep state has clone technology, if ever they're going to use clone technology, this would have been the time. So it makes me think, because they didn't do what they had to do to keep RBG alive to ensure their electoral victory, that they don't have the technology. That's the way I am. I am very strong on my on what I know, because what I know is based on data. But I'm not so stupid that if I see new data, I won't change my thoughts. And there still might be clones, but right now I am off the clone train, because if there was ever a time for a clone, that was it, and they didn't use it.
But you had such a good point when you put the two pictures up. I mean, there were real clear differences in the two guys.
It could be body doubles though, right? Or something along that nature?
It could be. And
like I'm saying, I'm not saying there's not clones. I'm just saying I'm not on the clone bus anymore.
Who did the debate the other night? Was it a double? I mean,
that's a great question, because if you look at him and you look at him in detail, I question if he even looks like a human anymore.
Right?
Is it Hunter in a mask? I don't know, but there's a lot of questions. And the great thing is that I think as a community, we can continue to ask these questions. And instead of getting butthurt if somebody doesn't see it our way, let's listen, let's learn, and let's have diversity amidst our unity. If you want to believe in clones, and I don't believe in clones, we still believe on pretty much on everything else. And you're still my sister, and I will still be by your side in this, as a last generation of new humans, whether you agree with me or not on 10 or 12 things. If you agree on the most important things, you're my sister.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really do appreciate you guys. Like I said, you got me through some really tough times here. And I was wondering, do you ever hear from Jenny Constantine anymore?
Jenny's been really busy. You know, she went through a life change. I have exchanged a few emails with her. We'll get her back on. But I mean, if there's one person you don't have to worry about, it's Jenny Constantine. She's a great individual, and absolutely love the girl. We have a great relationship. She's just been really super busy. I've been really super busy. And you know what? The only thing I want to disagree with what you said tonight is I really don't think I got you through anything. You got you through that. And maybe I provided some kind of a spark for you to realize that, but you got you through it, not me.
Well,
Thanks so much.
You and Cynthia and Tracy. I mean, I really do appreciate, you know, everything that you do. I really do.
Well, you're the reason that we're doing it. Thank you so much for your call.
It's been a rough ride, and we'll just keep on hanging in there, right?
Yep. Don't be a stranger. We're here to help. We really are. Take care.
All right. Take care. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. I'm Jeff. You're on the air. What's your question? Hello, going once? Going twice? Gone? I'm definitely going to have to get a more robust phone system, and I think it's possible to do so. So, whoo, boy. Nobody wants to give me a break, and I can't see where it's ringing. It must be an old one. Such an annoying sound. Pretty good show, huh? This has been fun. It's already been an hour. And the phones are still ringing. So what do? We answer them. I wonder if this is that dating show girl again. Hello, this is Jeff. You're on the air. What's your question? You're on the air. Turn down your radio or your computer and we can talk.
Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
Good. It's Robert again. I did put that in the live chat for you, the guy's name. I don't know if we got disconnected or what. There's a couple other things I wanted to ask you. Do you honestly believe that Donald Trump is doing all he's doing sincerely from his heart, and he's really with us and not, playing a role?
Yes.
Do you honestly believe that with all your heart?
100%. 100%.
Day to day, going back and forth with this and researching and all the questions, and I've even pulled out and read where he said on a lot of his things, and it's really confusing. And when this coronavirus first came out, it's really weird because I literally went into shaking and got myself right into researching what was going on with the world, with the Luciferians, with Satan, and we're talking about cloning and stuff, which was just the gentleman before her.
I think that was a lady, but that's okay.
You're familiar with CERN, correct?
I am familiar with CERN. And again, we got a lot of people calling in, so let's get to a question if we can, okay?
CERN is supposed to be like a 3D computer, and they may be able to do some cloning with the DNA and stuff. That's what I found out. So I'm not sure about it. I'm still a little skeptical. Another thing is you do talk a lot about Jesus. You named him the rat bastard.
No. Jesus is plastic Jesus. The rat bastard would be the father figure in the Bible. So if we're going to call somebody a rat bastard, let's call the right bastard the rat bastard.
Correct. And I've done a lot of research on that too. And that's a very, very confusing part to me with the Jesus, because I've grown up believing in Jesus Christ and what I've been told and how I've been led to believe in that.
Right.
And as I've gotten older, I've researched, and when I found your channel, started listening to you opened a lot of things up to me. And I've dug into the Bible myself, and the times don't fit right or anything, but the man that claims to be Jesus was actually a good man. And then the Sumerians and the Anunnakis and the fallen angels and the book of Enoch, I've been through it all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's information that's really very, very interesting. And I think that everybody should try to reach out and search for themselves, because there's a lot of information out there.
I agree with you 100%, Robert, and I respect you for your conclusions, and I thank you for calling in. We're going to go ahead and move on to another caller. Thanks so much for calling in. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Not a problem. Thank you.
Bye-bye now. Polite, respectful, mini speech. That's okay. Little mini speech. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. You're on the air. What's your question?
Hi, Jeffrey Daugherty. How are you?
If I was any better, it'd have to be twins.
Awesome. I've watched your show for, I think, about a month. And my question here is, I'm a Hebrew Messianic. So I understand the Hebrew side of the scriptures and the New Testament. If the command from God is to love God and love your neighbor as yourself, don't lie, don't steal, and love God, put him first, wouldn't these be good qualities to have a decent civilization?
Absolutely.
Because Yeshua even said these words, if you love me, keep my commandments, and he said, love each other as I have loved you.
Now that's where you lost me. I'm great with the love your neighbor, love yourself, but when you get to telling me the only way that I can prove I love you is by doing the commandments that you give me, now you've infringed on my divinity. You've infringed on my sovereignty. You've infringed on my freedom. And if there's a God that wants to give me a true divinity, that wants to tell me what to do, he can tell me what to do. I'm not going to believe a book that was written 2,000 years ago, but I don't know who. I actually do know. But you see what I'm saying? Love, all that, I'm with it. But I'm not down with you, with anybody telling me what the commandments are. And if I don't follow them, I don't love them. I wouldn't date a girl like that. I'm certainly not going to follow a God like that.
Yeah, but wouldn't you say love doesn't lie, doesn't steal, doesn't hurt anybody?
And that's why I don't believe in the Bible God, because he lies all the time. He hurts people. He kills babies. He rips them from their mother's womb. How can I believe a God like that is love?
Well, say, if you understand what justice is, and if you understand Old Testament, they're not the same. Old Testament.
No, I'm sorry. I can't go with that again. Do you have a question? You're making a speech, which you're allowed to do on your channel, but I'm not going to let you make this speech on this channel. What do you have a question?
What's so bad about Yeshua if he taught the commandments to love one another, and if that's the greatest gift? Even Paul said, "Love conquers all." So if you look at 1 Corinthians 13:4-7, these are good qualities. How can you say that the Bible's a bad book when these are the qualities that basically bind the community?
Because, again, I'll share with you. You've talked to me about commandments, and if there's a commandment, there's no true love. And number one, you cannot prove that Yeshua even existed. And you're talking about a book that is full of the divinity in that book, killing men, killing women, killing children, burning cities. You know what? You can preach to me all day long. Tell me what for me to hear what you say, but I can't hear what you're doing, what you're saying, because what you're doing speaks too loud. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it very, very much. That was a little bit too much of a speech, but hey, I appreciate it. And I know where he is, and he wouldn't have called if he wasn't at least asking some questions. And I think he called internationally. So I really do appreciate the call. How long are we going to do this? We'll do it as long as people keep calling. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. What's your question?
Hi, Jeff. This is Brandon. Glad to be talking with you. I wanted to hear your opinion on what is going on with Azerbaijan and Armenia. Do you think there's some sort of deep state proxy war going on with the Sanhedrin there?
You know what? I am completely embarrassed to tell you that I'm not up to speed on what's going on in Azerbaijan right now. I don't know, so I really can't give you an intelligent answer.
Sure, but all right. I appreciate your time. I just wanted to say thank you for everything you've done. I show up frequently in chat. Shout out to Tracy, Cynthia, and of course to you.
You know, and I appreciate it. And really, you know, if I knew anything about it, and, you know, that's one of my problems is I've got my head down and I'm studying so much. I mean, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. I don't read a lot of the media. I don't listen to the TV. So I know I should know as a concerned citizen what's going on over there. And I know from your concern that it's a real concern. There's real people being hurt, but I just don't know what's going on. So I can't weigh in on it.
What do you think of balkanization possibly here in the United States, similar to what happened in the USSR around the time the Iron Curtain fell?
You know, if I could, my paraphrase Thomas Jefferson, he kind of said something sort of along the lines of a little balkanization every now and then is a good thing. Actually, I hope it doesn't happen. But we had an earlier caller that said if this election is stolen from President Trump, and I think that's the only way he can lose is that the election be stolen. And if the election is stolen, you could well see the balkanization of the United States of America. And if that happened, and if we were in that situation, I can't honestly sit here in this very nice new chair that Cynthia bought me. I can't sit here and tell you that it would be a bad thing. If this happens to this country at this time, then that's a country that deserves to be balkanized, and maybe we'd be the better for it.
Right. Have you read anything from Dr. William Luther Pierce as far as the Turner Diaries?
No. Oh, the Turner Diaries. I am a bit familiar with those. Give me the person's name again. I know he's very controversial, but I'm open in my mind to anything that's that has something to speak to. And again, you know, you get this term racism gets thrown around. I'll tell you right now, I am a racist, but not like you think. Racist means someone that is concerned with their race. And I am concerned with my race. I'm also concerned with your race, and I'm concerned with the human race. Give me his name again. So I'm a racist.
Dr. William Luther Pierce.
Okay.
Turner Diaries.
I will look him up.
Wrote Hunter. Hunter is a prequel to the Turner Diaries.
I will look it up. I know that's very highly controversial. You probably got me in trouble, but hey, if reading a book makes you a bad person, then I'm a bad person. I don't care what the book says.
You wrote For the Last Battle. Did you?
Oh, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. That's an eye opener. Everybody should watch it.
I think you and Cynthia heeded my advice, and also The Greatest Story Never Told.
Are you the one that suggested that to us?
Yes.
It was absolutely mind opening. And whether you end up having a favorable opinion to the thesis of that movie or not, you owe it to yourself to get the information. Why are we afraid of information? Why is there some information that's okay and some information that is, if you would allow me, verboten? Why? When anyone tells you you can't study this, say that again.
I would love to be a guest on the show if you ever want to deep dive into it.
Send me an email, Jeffrey@jeffreydaugherty.com, and I'll follow up with you because I would love to talk about that. It might have to be a Cousins Club. I don't know if we could get away with that on YouTube. But yes, I would love to hear more about that. I'd love to hear your perspectives on it. And I think it's important for those of us. And I've got the problem that I think that there's a better, I'll just say it, I think there's a better religion for the white race than Christianity. And I think there's a better religion for the black race and the yellow race and the red race than Christianity. A lot of people that believe in the power of their race are very hooked into Christianity. And I hope that maybe there's a way to help move that, or at least to get beyond that, so we can have unity within our races. And I think a stronger individual race will end up with a stronger human race.
You're right. And I think that's what AH wanted the most.
Yeah. I think you're probably right. And I appreciate you for being very, again, my vocabulary is fleeing me, but you're being very smart and you're being very judicious. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
My pleasure. And please send me that email. I'll look forward to talking to you.
I will. Eric.
Whoops. Sorry about that. It was a little quick on the trigger. That never happens. Only that time. I'm telling you the truth. Wow. What is that sound? Simon and Garfunkel would call it the sound of silence, wouldn't they? Very, very interesting evening. Very, very interesting calls. And it's that 954 area code again. Do we give him another answer? Another question? Why not? Hello, this is Jeff. You're on the air.
No, it's Wendy.
Hello, Wendy.
I did like the sound of silence.
You did. Good.
I really liked your session on the book 1666.
Yes, thank you.
And so I have a question. Have you done any research on the Wettin World Governing Council?
Say that one more time. You broke up.
the Wettin World Governing Council.
Wettin, W-E-T-T-E-N?
W-E-T-T-I-N.
And it's the
World
Wettin
Governing Council.
World Governing Council. No, I haven't.
And a lady named Somerset Delanoff.
I have heard that name. I'm not sure where I've heard that name, but I have heard it.
Okay, so I'm just sending you down perhaps a rabbit hole if you so choose to look.
You know what? One of my favorite places to go in the whole wide world is down a rabbit hole.
And I think she might be a relative of Leo Zagami.
Really?
Who wrote books on Confessions of an Illuminati.
Right. I think I've read that book, as a matter of fact.
He has several of them.
So I've written that down, and I will definitely look into that literature. Did you have another question for me?
Nope, that's it. Love your work.
Thank you so much for calling in. And really, I mean, getting to hear the people that are out there, it just gives me more strength and more inspiration. And I wish you could understand the respect and affection that I have for each and every one of you. Thanks so much for doing me the honor of calling in.
Okay.
Bye-bye now. This has been a really good night. Really, really interesting night. Cynthia, if we got any more coffee out there, that would be absolutely fantastic. And I would love you even more than I do now if you would bring me some. But if you don't hear this and don't, I'll still love you more than I do right now. It all works out in the end. Did you know that Eagle Ride Rentals is offering a special if you ride motorcycles? I'm in my email. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest on the show, I think. If he'll come over here, we may have a special guest making a special appearance. I want to show you something that is rarely seen in the wild. I don't know if you're ready for this, but this is rarely seen in the wild. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a baby Rooney. Rarely seen in the wild. Normally a ferocious, predatory creature, but every now and again, you will see the extremely rare baby Rooney. Look fast. You will never see this again. Thanks for making a guest appearance, Rooney. If you've been with us for a while, you know that Rooney is the new cosmic kitten, taking on our new cosmic knowledge theme. And he is a very well-fed young man, and not so much a young man anymore. I think he's like 11 years old. So let me look into the in the chat room, see if I've got anything here. No, I don't think so. You know what? This might be a great time to start to bring things to an end. I think this has been a really fantastic, a really successful, so much so that I am considering investing in some caller software so we can actually do this on a regular basis. I got to be honest with you, folks. I really expected more fire. I expected more flack. You know, you're not much of a cowboy if you don't take a few arrows. And I don't really feel like much of a cowboy right now. I don't feel like much of a cowboy. Yeah, Cynthia says hate. We expected there'd be some more hate, but you know what? If you, sometimes you speak too soon. 813 area code. Hello, you're on the air with Jeff. What's your question?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, hello?
What's your question? I'm with you.
Let me ask you a question. Why are you calling my girlfriend in the middle of the night?
I think there's a mistake because I haven't called anybody. I'm on a radio show right now talking about 50,000 people, and you called me.
Make excuses, boy. You tell me who this is.
This is Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Goodbye, my friend. How the hell does that happen? I'm trying to get my drawers back. I left them over there. That's why I'm calling her. People are crazy, aren't they? People are crazy. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. We had a great night. I'm going to shut down that phone so nobody else calls. I mean, that's an hour and 15 minutes of straight calls, folks. That is fantastic. You can't even get that. I mean, coast to coast don't have an hour straight of calls. I appreciate you. You guys, he asked for a cow. I asked for a cowboy. It's really, I'm blown away. This is fun. I love it. I love talking with you. I love interacting with you. And we're definitely going to do this again. Depending upon, do we do it? Do we do one? Oh, this is at 954 again. This is at 954 again. I'm not going to answer that one. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. No, won't do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I thought I shut this off, but I guess I did not. It should be shut down. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you so much. If the ketones kick in and Cynthia goes to sleep early, I may get on and do some more podcast excellence. But if not, we appreciate you for being here. Tracy, Jama, Desert Rose, Cynthia, all the great moderators. I salute you for being here, seeking after truth. Ask questions, question answers. We're the last generation of real Americans. Vote November 3rd. Save our country. We're the last generation of real humans. Unindoctrinate yourself, and the world will be better than it's ever been, sooner than you've ever imagined. Subscribe. Hit that bell. Tap it twice, because if you think I'm naughty, you better keep an eye on me. If you think I'm nice, you don't want to miss a show. Tap the bell twice. You'll be notified. I'm your mailman. You've got mail. Unindoctrinate yourself, and let's get busy.